Judge Beller, thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed today. It's an honor to be standing in the same room with you. I appreciate everything that you do. I always do this because everybody knows who you are, but tell them who you are and your capacity here, officially.
My name is Brandon Beller, and I'm your Smith County General Sessions Judge. And Bill, I put my pant legs on one leg at a time, okay? So don't
say don't get too excited, right?
Don't get too excited.
Yeah. Well, you have a pretty large job here in the court facilities, and a lot of people may not understand exactly what that entails. Could you kind of give us the, I guess you'd call it the short version, or maybe the mid-short version of what you do?
All right. Well, I have geographical jurisdiction over matters that arise out of Smith County, Tennessee, or in Smith County, Tennessee. So I could hear anything from a speeding ticket all the way to an assault case. I could have a civil case, a controversy between two neighbors over a lawnmower, or maybe a detainer warrant, maybe trying to remove someone from a piece of property. Orders of protection. Of course, I run the recovery court here in Smith County, Tennessee, so we deal with that, and of course, criminal cases, misdemeanor cases. The jurisdiction that I have over felonies is only for a preliminary hearing, or what they call a probable cause hearing. That may be a little more than what you ask, but it's a very broad and encompassing amount of things that I get to see and do through that court.
Okay, and you meet, do you meet every week? How does that work?
We have a basic court schedule. Thursdays, we will have criminal court. Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, the first and third Wednesday of the month, we'll have a civil docket or have civil hearings. We'll have juvenile justice on your first and third Tuesdays of the month, and on the fourth Tuesday of the month we'll have what they call basically what we call our DCS docket, which is not juvenile justice. It's dealing with matters that involve what they call cases dependency and neglect, maybe even possibly a termination of parental rights case. And if something may take a case that may require more time than just what our regular scheduled court would allow, we'll set special court dates. We also have a recovery court that we have every Wednesday at 8:30, and then we also have a traffic court Tuesdays, every second Tuesday of the month. So you can find me here typically Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and also many times on Mondays and Fridays. So it just depends on what the schedule is for the month.
So it's pretty full docket. Now your gallery, it's not open to the public at every one of those court sessions, is that right?
Well, we have an open courts doctrine in the state of Tennessee, and the courts are open to the public. Anybody that wants to come into an open proceeding, they can. Now, for certain cases, particularly dealing with juveniles, the answer is that the courts will be closed because obviously to protect the youth. The minors, but anytime we don't lock the doors. People can come in and sit. Now, some days there may not be enough room, and for security reasons, we may have to ask people to step out in the hall. But beyond that, it's an open court.
Yeah, well, that's it's been my experience. We've been with the leadership and come in and been able to sit down. And I had thought that, like you say, juvenile cases you wouldn't be able to come into. You've been the judge now 1 term or 2 terms?
This is my first elected term. I was appointed in 2020, September 2020.
Okay, and during those terms, like you said, you cover a gamut of from, I don't want to call them small, because if you come to court, it's big to you, but you cover everything up to the felony cases. And you mentioned recovery court. That recovery court is run at your discretion. It's your decision to have it or not. And I just want to personally say, I feel like that is a wonderful thing that you are doing and keeping going.
Well, I'm going to say something. I know you say you, but it's not me. All right. Now, there's a lot of components, a lot of people. There's a network, people that are members of that recovery court team. We've got our recovery court program run by Miss Mary Bush. We have the cooperation of our sheriff's department, our county government, a lot of your local churches, and so many people and facilities that's what makes it work. It's the people that makes it work, that are willing to dedicate their time, their energy, their love, and their passion to help people is what makes it work. It's never a one-man show. There's things, think of me somewhat like the gatekeeper. I get to make decisions, the referee that calls it, but it's impossible to do without that team, those folks. So all the credit goes to them.
Well, and that's a good word to use. It is a team effort, no doubt about that. And I guess a lot of people wouldn't realize this, but you're trying to act in behalf of the good of people that stand before you, well, and the people of the county.
Correct. I mean, it's always, I personally, I consider myself a servant, and as a servant, you always are mindful of your purpose and whom you serve, and you're always looking out for the greater good for your community, and that's a factor that goes into a lot of your decision-making processes. So when you're seeing someone that comes in and you've watched them be arrested, you've watched them come before you for a bond hearing, you've watched them have a hearing and maybe even get on probation, then violate probation, and then be sentenced, could be up to 11 months and 29 days or more, depending upon the way the sentence was structured. That person, you're involved in their life, and so you get to watch them, and you have a history on a glimpse, at least, of what you see in that person. But when they get into the recovery court system, then it becomes, you get even more closely involved, and because you may have dealings with their family members, you may deal with friends, their work associations, their church, and so it becomes a lot more intimate, and you're always wanting to, what can I do to help this individual become maybe a more productive member of society, or maybe and it may be just a small adjustment. And so we really work with people to give them that wraparound effect that they need to every opportunity to do that, as opposed to sitting in jail, as opposed to being just sitting there and maybe not getting the services they need. We've always heard about recidivism rates. People go out of jail, they come back around. It's just the vicious cycle. Well, if we can break that cycle, then what we can do is we can help someone, teach them, maybe even train them, and then it makes your job easier because they're going to know more people, and then they can carry the message. And sooner or later, hopefully, we've changed the culture.
Well, you're sitting here and you have a lawyer that's advocating for one side, and you have another lawyer or attorney, usually the attorney or district attorney's office, and you sit there and you have to make the decision that's best for the community and the person that's involved in it, and that's a pretty heavy obligation, and appreciate the fact that you're able to do that and willing to do that. You were an attorney here in the community for many years before you took the judgeship, and there's a lot of experience, I would think, that you need to be able to be a judge. And I'm not sure there's a question in there. That's more talking than anything. But the court system here seems to work quite well. You've got a lot of good people here working. I don't know if you want to comment on that, but it seems to me that you've got a pretty good team here.
I think we have somewhat of an unwritten motto around here: do your job, do your job, do your job. and everybody they do their job, and they do it well. I can't commend them enough. I mean, every one of them, they carry with them a spirit of excellence. We all seem to be striving toward the same goal, and it works well. and they cooperate with one another. Does it mean that everything is roses and fruit baskets? No.
It can be.
It can't be.
Yeah.
But it works well. They do a good job.
Well, and the balance of power, I mean, you have the sheriff who is a very powerful entity as far as law is concerned here, and judges that are very powerful entities. And I guess your grand jury, there's a balance there to try and give people equity, I guess is what I'm saying. And I think that's great.
Well, I appreciate the compliment, but like I said, I put my britches on one leg at a time. All right, so I don't know. As the one man said, just always remember you're just a man. So,
yeah. Well,
we operate within the authority that we've been given. So, and we try to do the best job we can here.
Yeah. Well, it's much appreciated. Is there anything you want to add, comment?
No, I think you've got the nuts and bolts of it pretty good. So, but no, I do appreciate the time, and thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for taking the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
In our interviews here at the court facility, there's sometimes groups and people that do things that are not really as such affiliated with the court, and I believe your group would be one of those. It's called Bridging the Gap, right?
Yes, sir.
I forgot. Introduce yourself.
My name is Larry Dillard. I'm a member of Bridging the Gap. We've been serving here at the court facility since 2015.
Okay, and of course you couldn't do this without the judges being on board with it and the people that are in the judicial system. But basically, what do you folks try to do at Bridging the Gap?
Well, our motto is getting you from where you are to where you need to be or where you desire to be. And we pass out Bibles, pass out tracts, pray for people, offer support systems, whatever need that it may be. And it's entirely faith-based, so we all need more Jesus, and that's what we're here for, is try to offer help. And we also minister to families that come in support of people in the court system, and it's whatever we can do.
Well, and I'm sure when people come into court sometimes it's a very trying, very scary scenario, and I'm sure you're able to offer a little bit of calming down, and so to speak, and that's probably part of the purpose.
Well, coming in, they seem more vulnerable, I guess you would say. They're a little more nervous, and coming back out, sometimes they're hard to catch. They're ready to get out the door and be gone. But depending on what's been spoken to them prior to going in, if we've had time to minister to them properly, and they go in and they've been prayed for, prayed with, and the results are good. When they come back out, they've obviously saw the hand of God go to work in their life instantly, and it builds their faith, and that develops character. And we see so many repeats, and those are the ones that we really desire to talk to more, because why are you here again? We're just here to help. We're not here to beat anybody down. Just lift them up and try to help them.
Well, and it's a voluntary basis. I mean, they can talk to you, or they can choose not to talk to you. But your goal is to try to help them to not be in here any more than they need to be.
We hand out Bibles, and over the last year we handed out almost 1,200, and we're starting over. We just purchased 1,440 more, so we've set our goals higher.
Oh, well, that's a wonderful thing.
Yes, sir.
Well, Larry, thank you for coming by.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, tell them who you are and what you do here.
Hi, I'm Mary Lynn Bush, and I'm the director over Smith County Recovery Court and Probation.
Okay, Recovery Court is, to me, it's kind of a new thing. I guess it's been going on for several years now. Do you know when it started? I may be asking.
It started back in, it's about 15 years ago.
Okay, and
here in Smith County.
Yeah, and when I think about Recovery Court, well, I need to let you explain it. What does Recovery Court do?
A Recovery Court, we take individuals who have been sentenced to jail. They violated their probation on various reasons. It could be a failed drug screen, new charges. They apply for our treatment program. It's anywhere from 18 to 24 months long. During the program, they have to attain a sponsor, attend meetings 3 times a week. They have 2 mandatory drug screens a week. They go to a 30-day inpatient treatment program, attend IOP. They also have to meet with their sponsor. There's a curfew for each stays. They're required to work a full-time job as well as participate with recovery court in the community. During that time, they can live particularly anywhere in Smith County and the surrounding counties, because we do have to meet with them pretty regularly, once a week while they're in phase 1, twice a week while they're in phase 2, every third week if they're in phase 3, and then once a month when they're in phase 4.
Okay, well now, for them to get into this program, they have to be approved by the judge, is that correct?
They have to be approved by our recovery court team. We have about 10 members on our team, as well as the judge, the district attorney, and the public defender. We do not take violent offenders, so they cannot have anything violent on their history. Recovery court is, it's in lieu of jail time, and it's to have these participants be productive citizens in our society, and we try to limit the violence so that the public remains safe.
Well, it kind of makes sense, because if they're sitting in jail, they're not contributing to the community, they're not supporting their family.
That's
and
correct.
if they're able to do this outside, I think that's a wonderful program. When a person gets on this, is there a length of time, like a graduate? I know I've attended some graduations, so I know there's a graduation period. What is the length of time for them to go through this?
Each phase is 120 days minimum. There's 4 phases. So it's really dependent on how they progress in our program, how they do, getting in trouble and that sort of thing. So it can be just as short as a year, or it could be up to 2.
Okay, I have been here, of course, seeing graduations, and that's the successful ones.
Yes.
And you have a lot of them. Is your failure rate or your success rate pretty good?
Yes, sir. Our success rate is much higher than individuals that have to return back to jail.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. And is there anything I'm not asking about recovery court that, it's to get people off of drugs. These are misdemeanor offenders. That you can't do a felony offender with this program.
Correct.
Right?
The 15th Judicial Felony Program is under Judge Kane's court, and that is out of Wilson County. They will do the felony offenders.
So there actually is a recovery court for felony offenders.
Yes,
I
sir,
did
there
not
is.
realize that.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, that's wonderful, because in my personal belief, I think recovery court is really making a difference in people's lives.
Yes, we are. Right now, we have 7 currently in our program. We have 3 in treatment right now, and 2 pending possible bed dates. So the more that we can help, the better that it is.
Do you ever have to get on to anybody about keeping up with their visits or?
Oh, yes. We definitely have to get onto them quite a bit. And that's with not just me and my case manager, as well as the team. And it's more as a team effort. We come together and they have a support system throughout the program.
Well, and it's good if they're looking at more than one person. And I know you encourage them. I've seen that.
Oh, yes, we do. We definitely encourage them. We help them. We help them obtain their license right now. We've got 2 that we've helped get in college through an individual on our team. Her name is Jessica Miller. She works with American Jobs, and she's helped them get into school. We can help them pay rent. So we really try our best to help them, benefit them in any way that we can to be successful in their recovery.
Yeah, I hadn't planned on going this route, but do you find people that you get in recovery court, they're having to do the things that they should have done when they were a teenager to get themselves ready for life?
Oh, yes.
And they missed out on that because of either drugs or whatever circumstance?
A lot of it is simple, just adulting skills, parenting skills, life skills that they have neglected, either through, if it was through their childhood or through their pre-teens, teenage years, or even some of them not getting into drugs until their later years. They have stopped. They're just normal life skills that either weren't taught to them or they didn't fully get them.
Yeah, I remember years ago somebody made this statement. They said nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I want to grow up to be a drug addict. And I'm sure that's true of everybody that's in your program.
Oh, yes,
they want
definitely.
to get out of it or they wouldn't participate.
Correct. Yeah, they definitely want the help and need it. Sometimes it's more difficult than others, but we try our best to help them the best that we could.
Well, I know in this county we have several people that have come through this program or other programs that are here in the county, and I see them out in the community working, and that's a testament to what you folks do. So thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Jesse, tell them who you are and what you do.
Bill, I am Jessie Goad. I am the Smith County Clerk and Master for the Chancery Court of Smith County, Tennessee.
Well, now that sounds like a really big job. Do you handle money?
I handle money, but let me tell you this. Chancellor C.K. Smith is the Chancellor for the Chancery Court of Smith County, 15th Judicial District, which Smith County is part of. I am blessed and I was honored for Chancellor Smith to appoint me as Clerk and Master on January the 4th, 2022. So I've been in office 2 years now.
Okay.
I serve at the pleasure of Chancellor Smith, and I have 2 wonderful deputies in my office, Marcy St. John and Allison Silcox. Yes, we handle money. One of the biggest things that we handle money for, I don't like this term, is delinquent property taxes. One of the things assigned to my office is if you don't pay your property taxes in a timely manner, a lawsuit is going to be filed in the Chancery Court for Smith County, and then we're going to collect those taxes. So there's a lot of money that runs through my office for those. As well as that, we also have to have filing fees. So when a lawsuit or a petition is filed in my office, we collect fees for that.
Okay. Well, now, there are situations where you actually do auctions or sales. Is that right? How does that
There is.
come
Let
about?
me tell you a little bit about the Chancery Court. Chancery Court is a court of equity. Sometimes that means the law may not cover it just a little bit. Maybe we've got to have a little common sense here. So the Chancery Court, we have matters of probate. We also have conservatorships, but guardianships. And on top of that, though, we also will have lawsuits that it may be a contract dispute. It may be some other type of dispute that can't or could be held in circuit, but maybe it needs to come over Chancery because we got to use some common sense with this, or that the law doesn't just straight on that. So your question about court sales, there can be different parameters that apply that when there's a court sale, it could be a partition suit where several owners cannot divide it in kind and they say, we're going to sell it and we're all going to just disperse the money. Mm-hmm. Or it may be a situation of an estate of where that land needs to be sold to help settle that estate. So yes, sometimes there are court-ordered sales that do run through the Chancery Court.
Okay, well, I like the term you use, court of equity. To me, when I hear that, what it means is that sometimes the law may not cover a situation, and so the judge gets to use his judgment and knowledge of the facts to be able to make a fair and equitable decision. Is that a good description of that?
In my opinion, that is a good description. The Chancellor pays close attention and listens closely, and he's well versed in the law.
Okay, well, and he's been in the office for several years now, I would think.
Several years.
And I don't know about other jobs, but I would think experience comes with also with the length of term. So I would think that he's probably seen just about all of it by now.
I would say he has.
Yeah.
I would say he has.
Okay, if someone has a question, or is there a reason someone would need to come and ask you, hey, does this apply here? How do they get to your court if they think they need it?
I do not practice law.
Oh, okay.
And there's a sign up in my office that says, we do not give legal advice. Mm-hmm. If you call and you have a legal question, I'm going to suggest you seek an attorney. I will not answer any legal questions. I do not practice law.
Okay.
Now, if they say, Mom passed away, do I need to open a probate? I'll say, this is the correct office to open. You need to seek counsel.
Okay. So 99.9% of everything that it needs to be through a lawyer. I know there are instances where you could do things yourself.
I don't want to pass judgment on that and answer that, because there are times that you can represent yourself pro se. I think I'd be overstepping boundaries there, but something like a name change, you might do that yourself. I leave that up to the individuals and the chancellor. That's not for me to pass a judgment on.
Well, in my life, I have learned it is always good to get educated advice, and in this case, that would be an attorney for sure. Is there anything that we didn't ask about the office that it's here in the court jail facility?
We are.
And is there anything we didn't ask that we needed to?
Chancellor has regular terms of court here in Smith County. Our terms of court are the first full week in February, June, and October. Chancellor also has what he calls chambers dates, which is motion dates for matters that are 15 minutes or less generally, and that's the first and third Friday in Trousdale County.
Okay, and if you have a matter that it's in Smith County, but you can be heard anywhere he has court,
In
is
the
that
15th
right?
Judicial District, that's
Okay.
correct. Wherever there's time and he's traveling, so be it.
Okay. Well, Jesse, thank you.
Thank you,
if we've
Bill.
hit it all, I appreciate you coming by.
You're welcome. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome. Okay, Mr. Tommy, tell them who you are and what you do around here.
My name is Tommy Turner. I hold the office of Circuit Court Clerk. I have 4 employees. We manage the court system for general sessions and the circuit judges. General sessions consist of criminal, civil, juvenile, and we got circuit judges. They rotate through 5 counties. And we got Judge Kane does mostly criminal, Judge Collins does criminal and civil, and Judge Byrd does divorces and civil mainly.
Oh.
But they rotate. We do all warrants, citations, summonses come through my office. We have to enter them, files are made, and then it's a process through the court system. Then we collect fees, fines, anything that is owed on all these cases is collected through my office, and then we disperse it at the end of the month wherever it goes. I don't know, it's just pretty extensive what we do.
Well, it sounds like a pretty big load because you're handling all of those courts, and of course they all meet here. Now, your office is located here in the building,
That is correct.
so I'm sure there's a lot of, well, when you say collect fees and fines, there's probably a lot of money changes hands, checks and things like that that you have to take care of that are coming through, fines that are levied or fines that are things that need to be paid. What a citizen on the street normally, what would they come into your office to do, or is it strictly through the court that they're going to come to see your office?
Well, a citizen could come in if they've got a citation or something, but most time if it's a warrant or something, they may come in, but they probably need to contact legal services unless they've been appointed or something by the judge. But afterwards, they will be coming, if they're on probation and they got fees and fines, they've got to pay them to satisfy their probation or they get violated. So it's pretty much a cycle.
Okay, well, I'd say you've got probably a constant people coming to your windows and doing these things then.
These cases, yeah, they go on and on.
Okay, are you charged to keep records like in perpetuity forever? Or how does that work?
There are some citations and stuff, I think 10 years can be destroyed. Otherwise, as far as I know, they are to be kept. And we have them stuck everywhere.
I was going to say that's probably
They're
an
stuck
issue.
everywhere, and some of the older ones are hard to find. There's even still some at the old courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, a lot of the stuff is in books, so we can find it in books without having to find the files, but that takes time like everything else. So.
Well, and if there's evidence in a trial, do you have to keep the physical evidence in that, or is this just the transcripts and the paperwork?
Some of it we do, and some of it goes back to the sheriff's department. If there's drugs or weapons or stuff, I don't like them in my office. And
Yeah, I can imagine.
I just rather not keep them, so they go back, I think, in their evidence room most of the time. But now we do coordinate the trials. We have to keep up with juries, jury panels. We have to keep up with the grand jury. So we have pretty extensive.
Okay, well now picking juries, that's an interesting subject. I know the grand jury, you draw them from the pool of registered voters, is that right?
From the driver's license bank.
Driver's license, okay.
They're pulled from driver's license bank, so with the regular jurors. And this session, Judge Bird's doing the regular jurors, so we had to pull people for her to panel regular jurors, and then Judge Kane does the grand jury, so we had to pull another pool for him to do the grand jury out of.
Okay, and
So the grand jury is seated for a year.
okay,
These others are for, we pull them 3 times a year, so
so you could be on maybe 4 months, 3 months,
That's
something
correct.
like that. Okay.
yeah, they run through the end of April. They start the 1st of January through the end of April.
Well, now the grand jury only meets. Does it meet 4 times a year or
3 times.
3 times?
April, August, and December.
Okay, and that's basically where they're asking for an indictment for some reason, and then they run it through the grand jury to make sure that it's something that is reasonable. I guess it'd be the word.
That's correct. Or if it was bound over, it'll go before the grand jury or an indictment. And the
Okay.
general public can present something to the grand jury.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the prosecutor or an attorney. Then it can be any.
That's correct.
Okay, if you feel like you've been wronged.
That is correct.
Okay. Is there anything I've missed that we need to talk about that you can think of?
Not that I know of. no.
Okay.
There's just a lot to it.
Yeah, well,
And I'm old school, but we'll try to get it done, whatever it is.
well, speaking of that, now how long you been in office?
I've been in office a little over 9 years,
Okay, so you've got some experience behind you now.
a little bit,
Yeah, just a little bit.
just a little bit.
Tommy, thank you for coming by.
Thank you, Bill. Have a good day.
Randy, introduce yourself. Tell them what your capacity here is at the court and jail facility.
My name's Randy Glover. I'm the lieutenant deputy over the courthouse here. I keep the courthouse, the judges, the jury, the citizens, all the employees, we keep them safe. So that's our job here.
Not necessarily happy, but safe for sure.
Correct.
Okay, when you talk about taking care of that entails a lot of things because you're mixing jail and the court facilities. Let's start with the jail. What in particular do you do? Do you transport prisoners or inmates to their hearing, or how does that work?
Where it happens, when we have inmates that are in jail, on their court dates, they're transported down the back hallway and placed into a holding facility here on the court side. Once they're in that holding facility, the lawyers and their lawyers are able to get back to them, speak with them, and then we transport them one at a time inside the courtroom for their cases. So.
Well, I've noticed the courtroom, the one where you do cases like that, you've got a door and there's a hallway comes in, so they step inside, but there's a rail. They're still separated from the audience and from
they're separated completely from the public. We try to keep our inmates separated. That keeps all of the interaction in between the public and the inmates, keeps that at a low minimum. Therefore, we can't bring in contraband and things of that sort. So they're transported completely separate away from all the public.
Okay, well now one thing, and because of, we have a program that you're well aware of, Adult Leadership.
Yes.
Because of the tours that we've done, I know, and if I'm misdescribing this, they come in to you call it the Sally Port, where the cars pull in, the doors come down.
Yes, once those doors come down, they're secured. So once those doors go down, they're secured. They can't run, they can't get away. We have a fence perimeter around the backside, so they can't even get, even if they did get outside, they couldn't go anywhere. So, but once those doors come down, they come into the booking area back there. They get processed. Once they get processed, they get put into a cell, or they bond out. If they don't bond out, then they're brought up in front to the court side. That's where they come over here, and then they get up and seat in front of Judge Beller, where they have their bond hearings, and then they go through their bond hearings and the process of the court systems.
So once a person is in that Sally Port, until a judge says one way or the other, or they bond out, they're here.
Correct. They're not going anywhere.
Okay, well now let's talk about the court side. You've got the inmate in the court. What other duties do you take care of, like for the judges and anything else that's going on in the court?
Well, you know, whenever, anytime there's paperwork being passed between the lawyers and the judges, or the public and the judges, anything has to do with the judge, it has to go through one of our officers first. It's just a safety, security issue, so we deal with all of that. We also deal with, you know, just making sure that everybody's safe and there's no weapons inside. You know, when the public comes into the front of the courthouse, they have to go through our magnetometers. So once they go through, or Jeff Silcox, our officer sitting out front, he makes sure everybody doesn't have any weapons, guns, knives, pepper spray, and then they have their processor coming inside the courtroom. So we try to keep everything safe and on the down low.
Okay, and my experience has been is this is a safe facility as I've been in, and I haven't had much experience outside of this one, but seems to be very well run.
Yes,
Mr.
we're
Randy.
super proud of how we run our facility. All the judges in the district, the traveling judges, even the judges that doesn't normally come here. We've had Judge Gay and Judge Gibson from Sumner and Jackson. They've all commended us on how well we run our facility, not only the court side, but the jail side and the sheriff's office. And they've actually asked us to come and check theirs out from time to time.
Well, and the one thing we didn't mention, and I think it needs to be mentioned, inside the jail facility, you have a control room there, and there are cameras all through here. So basically, everything that's going on can be seen through a camera and is being monitored by deputies. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. In the tower back in the court or jail side, they have cameras that they can monitor throughout the entire building, not only inside but outside also. So, you know, we've had incidences where stuff has happened on the outside in the parking lot. So we have eyes on everything if we can.
Yeah, well, I've noticed it. Like I say, it seems to be a very secure place, and I'm proud that we have this here.
Well, we're a team, and we all try to work together, and that's why we're so successful at what we do.
Okay, and you've got a little experience too. How long have you been doing this?
I've been with the Smith County Sheriff's Office for 17 years now.
That's what I thought.
So I've been around the block a little bit. So
Yeah, I believe you've seen it all.
I've seen it a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
All the way from the old jail to the new jail. So I was there when the transition moved over.
Yeah, and this is a far cry from the old jail.
Ooh, it was rough, but we got through it, and now we have one of the top facilities, I feel, in the state. And TCI feels like we have one of the top facilities in the state, which is a big honor.
Well, and you can't do that without good people, can you?
Correct. I'd like to commend our jail administrator, our sheriff, our chief. They do a really good job to keep us in line and keep us going and keep us supplied with the things that we need.
Yeah, well, like you said, good team.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, Randy, thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
Well, we make the presumption that everybody knows you, but tell them who you are and what you do.
My name is Eugene Roberts. I'm the chief with the Smith County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, now, when you say chief, there's the sheriff, and then there's you. So you work for the sheriff, and then what do you do?
Back in the old days, they used to call the chief the undersheriff. And the responsibility of the day-to-day operation from the sheriff's office usually falls upon the chief. And that's because the sheriff has so many other functions to see to, so many other duties to see to, that the day-to-day operation is, I've kind of got a hands-on with that.
Okay, so you're talking patrol officers and jail as well, is that right?
I'm talking about the jail, the detectives, the school resource officers, the patrol officers, and especially the court system.
Okay, well, let's just kind of walk down that. School resource officers. We have resource officers in every school in the county now, is that right?
We have 9 schools and 9 school resource officers, and that's headed up by our Lieutenant Jason Stewart.
Okay, and that program is, well, I'm not aware of an incident that we've had, and I'm sure there have been some.
There are instances we've had some guns confiscated from schools. We've had some situations that were pretty serious, but nothing catastrophic.
Well, the thing that hits me, and I have small children, grandchildren that are in school, and they love those officers.
Sure do, and in return, officers do that. I've had officers that came off the street who I would have never thought would enjoy being around those kids tugging at their legs who absolutely love it and wouldn't trade anything for it.
Yeah,
Wouldn't go back.
well, and that's a great aspect of it. Now, you mentioned 3 other areas there. So, patrol officers?
The lieutenant over patrol, Lieutenant Ronnie Mater, and he's the direct report to me, and he pretty much runs his own ship, but I do oversee the patrol also.
Well, and I take a child to Forks River School, and Lieutenant Maynard is usually sitting there in the mornings watching the traffic go through
Right.
and everything. And I can't speak for anybody else, but I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, and we do that intentionally. We try to do that every morning, and unless there's something of an event going on that prohibits us from doing that, we put a school in the school zones. We like seeing those patrol cars being there. Patrol cars just being in the area, officers being in the area is a deterrent, and not only in the school zones, but throughout the county. So we strive on patrols.
Okay, well, I know I live in Lancaster, and it's pretty quiet over there, but I see
is.
officers coming through,
We do.
you know, and that's reassuring. It really is. Okay, 2 other areas, and I've forgotten what they were.
The detectives, Lieutenant Dusty Haley over the detective division, he's a direct report to me. They are well trained, and he and Sergeant Matt White, they do a good job, as do all the other department heads. But on the day-to-day operation, he reports to me, and if there's something unusual going on or some severe case or whatever, then I'm abreast of that also.
Okay, well now, when it comes to detectives, if somebody's out there and they think something is, say they have something maybe stolen or whatever, they would come in and file a report and talk with Dusty, is that right?
That's exactly right. He or Sergeant White one. Patrol might take the initial report, but for fraud cases and thefts, that usually winds up in the detective's office.
Okay, and then of course they take it from there and work with the individual to try and solve the problem.
Absolutely, and working with the district attorney and the district attorney's office to see what charges are to be filed and how to go about prosecuting those cases. We try our best to recover property. They've got a network. Our county is in a network with several other counties about pawn shops, items that's been brought in there. So we network with them, and if we've got a bunch of tools stolen, which we do at this time, then if somebody takes a large amount or unusual tools into like a pawn shop in Wilson County, that Wilson County would notify our detectives, and it's a working network.
Okay, and so anything that falls under that category, and it could be as high as like getting to a murder or something like that.
Exactly.
Now, I'm sure you get TBI involved in some cases, is that right?
We do. We ask the district attorney, Jason Lawson, for help with that, and he will assign a TBI agent
Okay.
to assist with that.
All right, and then the last category.
Well, there's 2 more, of course, the jail, and the jail's probably the most problematic of all of them. There's always something going on there. You got to make sure that the inmates are fed and they're warmed and they're taken care of. We just follow the orders of the court. We're not back there to punish people or do anything except if a judge puts somebody in jail, then it's our duty to take care of them and see that they serve that sentence.
Well, and I believe many years ago you hired Miss Beth Davis to do that.
Best move I ever made in my life
She's impressive.
She is our jail administrator. She's the department head back there, and she's heads up. There's a tremendous amount of reporting that we have to do to the FBI. I'm sorry, to the TBI, some to the FBI, but basically to the TBI, and then also the Tennessee Department of Corrections. She handles that, oversees all that. There's PREA, prison rape. You know, as you know, there's always an incident in the back where somebody has stolen somebody's commissary or there's been a fight, and all those things have to see to, and Miss Beth is spot on. She does a tremendous job. Don't know what I'd do without her.
Yeah, she's a great lady, that's true. And then last, I guess, is the court
The court
side.
system, just like Lieutenant Glover said, it is our main responsibility to protect the judges that come into this court facility. And we do that. We, as you probably know, just last week in Nebraska, I believe it was, there was a defendant that jumped over the bench and actually attacked a judge. We've had judges threatened here. We've had district attorneys threatened. We've had public defenders threatened. And all that has to be addressed. We have to take all that seriously, and we do. Plus, you've got to protect the public who's out in the well area. So it's a tremendous responsibility. But in addition to that, probably one of the most, it's rewarding in a way, and it's also difficult in a way, is taking care of a jury. You've got to handle that very, very carefully, because jurors can't even speak to prosecutors or public defenders or the public when they're impaneled as the jury. So we have to see to their needs. We can talk to them about everything in the world except for the case that's going on. Seeing to them, and that's a great sacrifice to come in here and be in here for a week, to give up that time with your family, and sometimes it runs late, and we try to see to their needs and take care of them. Other than that, just the correlation between the jail and the court system, just like Randy said, you've got to be spot on with that, making sure people are brought up in a timely manner. They've got a right to that, and we've got to make sure that happens. At the same time, making sure that the public is secure, the judge is secure, and these folks, everybody works around. Tremendous team in Smith County, I can tell you.
Well, it's been my observation, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. You guys, you treat people with respect, and you keep them safe, and that's the best you can do.
And that's about the best you can do. But as far as the facility itself goes, and my job, I have to make sure that and sign off on, and have to order everything from toilet paper to weapons. So all that's got to be done. It's kind of like running a factory in a way.
Yeah.
You've got to make sure that all the wheels are turning and everything is greased. Constant battle with heating units going out, or something in the kitchen, a stove going out or whatever, and all that stuff's got to be repaired. And usually after they figure it out, of course, the maintenance supervisor works directly for me, and after he sees to that, and we have to find somebody to repair those things and order those parts, and Jeremy Williams, who's the supervisor of that, he does a great job too. So it's a multi-task job.
There's no doubt about that. A lot of aspects to it.
I enjoy it a lot. We've got a really good sheriff, and he does a great job. So with his leadership, we're able to accomplish.
Yeah, Sheriff Hopper is doing a great job.
Yes, sir.
The facility itself, it's a far cry. You've had experience with the old jail. You were there. This is a far cry from what you had.
Unbelievable how much difference there was. No way to have security over an old facility. We actually, you may not remember this, but back under Judge Bass, we had a bomb threat and had to evacuate that entire building, and had to bring in the Highway Patrol. I'm sorry, the Highway Patrol, I believe, brought in before we had dogs, but they had a bomb sniffing dog and brought it into that facility. But it was unique because there was no magnetometers to come in, and there was just no way to properly secure that building. This one is totally different, and we treat it different. Doesn't make everybody happy all the time because you don't get to bring your cell phone in. Well, cell phones can be a lot of different things, and used for a lot of different things, including a weapon, so we're pretty guarded, and we never want to offend anybody or make anybody mad, but from time to time we do. But for the most part, they understand, but it's just like being in an airport. They want to be safe in an airport, and they want to be safe in this court facility.
Well, you're absolutely right. Well, is there anything else you want to add?
Not that I can think of. I just appreciate, I've been around 28 years, if you can
Yeah.
believe that. I came up through the ranks, and I enjoy my job, enjoy working, and I just appreciate being here.
Well, we appreciate you coming and letting us talk with you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, we're here at the court and jail facility, and we had a visitor come in. And I think everybody knows who you are, but tell them anyway.
Well, in case you don't know, my name's Katie Martin. I'm with UT Extension Smith County. I serve as the Agriculture and Natural Resource Agent and County Director there.
Okay, and I know you guys always have a lot of things going on. What's going on?
We do. And I'm kind of representing the whole crew. They're all at different meetings and events
Yeah,
today.
I saw one of
so-
them earlier this morning. She had a meeting going with a bunch of
Yes.
people, yeah.
So I'm going to try to tell you a little bit about what's going on with 4-H, FCS, and the ag side of things. And all of us have different things going on right now. Rachel's meeting with clubs. They're doing poster contests right now for 4-H, but she's also got several after-school activities that'll be starting here soon, including horse judging, livestock judging, and our archery program. We have lots of kids 4th through 12th grade that are involved in those things. It's such a great opportunity to learn a new skill, practice teamwork, and then get to go compete for ribbons and awards and prizes. So if you're interested in those things, make sure to call the office so we can get you a detailed practice schedule. She also has sign up for Chick Chain going on right now, which we know a lot of the kids want to participate in. They're able to purchase their own baby chicks, raise them into their own flock of laying hens, and then compete with us at a show and sale in the fall. So all those things are kind of happening January into February. So make sure to check your kids' backpack, see if they're bringing home a newsletter and a Chick Chain brochure. But lots going on in the 4-H world, so get in touch with us if you have questions. My favorite event that Mary does with FCS is also coming up, Chocolate Extravaganza.
Right, Valentine's.
So Valentine's Day, Chamber of Commerce. It's the best deal you can get for that amount of chocolates and candies and things. So make sure to kind of save that date on your calendar, mark it down to visit them. It all goes to a great cause. The FCE clubs home make all that, so it's delicious and just a really great way. It's my favorite way to spend Valentine's Day. So make sure to save the date for that. And then on the ag side of things, Master Beef is starting up at the beginning of February. We're registering for it now. So we've got lots of producers in the county that utilize that program, not only for education, but to qualify for cost share programs like the Tennessee Ag Enhancement Program. So it's really important to their farm and their operation. We've got great speakers lined up for that. If you've been through it before and need to recertify, or if you've never been through it before but are interested in learning about producing beef cattle effectively and efficiently, this is the class for you. We eat great every night, and like I said, have great speakers, so it's a win-win. We've also got some online opportunities like Master Farm Manager, Master Horse. All of those things you can do through Zoom and virtually, and we have information on how to sign up for those as well, if that works better for your interests or your schedule. And we also have a Upper Cumberland Extension Team grain meeting coming up. It's going to be held in Macon County, but it's all of our Upper Cumberland counties together. So for our row crop producers, this is going to be a great time to talk to some of our extension specialists about variety trials and up and coming technology that they need to know about to be the best they can be with their business. So plenty of opportunity to connect with us. And as always, we are at the office ready for your questions. Call us at 615-735-2900, or of course stop in and see us. We'd be happy to see you.
Okay, and you guys are a real asset to the community.
We try to be.
Yeah, well, what I love is the educational component of it. Like you're talking about Master Beef, you can get in if you've never done it, or if you've been doing it for years, you can
Absolutely.
still get involved.
That's the best way to learn, to connect with those people who are experts at it. If you're new, that's the best way to kind of get involved, I think.
Well, and one of the things, and this is probably close to your heart, the 4-H program, you have some wonderful people that have come through that, and we're going to introduce one of them, right?
Absolutely. So we want to turn it over to In the Wild with Gabe Harville.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of In the Wild. During the winter months, plants often lay dormant, making it difficult to easily identify them. Join me today as I go back on the hill and search for Tennessee's plants and how they appear during the winter months. Many trees, like these 3 shagbark hickories, shed their leaves in the winter months. This is to help conserve energy, similar to how many animals hibernate to survive the winter. These vines you can see here are known as greenbrier. They serve as an important source of food for many animals, with the berries feeding species like birds and squirrels in the winter, and the leaves feeding animals like white-tailed deer. These tan grasses are called broom sedge, likely because they resemble broom straw. They are one of Tennessee's many native bunch-type forming grasses. What that means is they form a clump out of the root ball, as you see here. This makes it the preferred loafing cover for many species, like quail, cottontail rabbits, and even turkeys and white-tailed deer. This is a blackberry bush. It's an important source of cover for small animal species. Our family has bush hogged recently, so they've been cut back a bit, but small animals will take refuge under the brambles to escape cold weather, wind, and snow. I was walking along this tree line when I nearly stumbled and fell over all of these walnuts. Nuts in general remain an important source of food for many animals during the winter time, helping to fatten them up as cold weather sets in. The bluish green substance seen on this hackberry is called lichen. It is a symbiotic relationship between fungi and moss. It's been said that this is a good way to determine air quality. If lichen goes all the way up a tree, chances are the air quality is pretty good. This is a sapling of the American beech. Unlike many other deciduous trees, it retains its leaves well into the winter. You can identify this tree by looking for smooth bark. Also, the leaves will have ridges where the veins are, and they are symmetrical and serrated. While scrambling up and over the ridge, I've met an unexpected surprise, a loblolly pine. You can immediately tell it's a loblolly pine because it has extremely long needles. Historically, the main pine species found in this area was shortleaf pine, but I'll take any kind of pine any day. Here are some pictures I took back in the woods that I thought y'all may enjoy. Just taking a walk back through the hills and hollers makes you realize what a blessing it is to live in Tennessee. Tennessee's plants are just a testament to the hardy ecosystems that thrive within our state at any time of the year. I hope you all were able to learn something with me as I walked back on the hill and did my best to point out some of the various species that reside within our beautiful state. Until next time, I hope to see you in the wild. What are you doing? Are you cold, dog? Are you cold? Are you ready to go? What do you want to do? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Wait. Should I? Look, hello, everybody. I'm Gabe Harville, and welcome back to another episode of In the Wild. If you can't already tell, today is quite blustery. However, by popular demand, I've been asked to go revisit the Plant ID episode. We never did a Plant ID episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of In the Wild. If you can't already tell, today is quite blustery. However, I've been asked to revisit Plant ID by popular demand. It will be difficult than it was. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of In the Wild. I completely forgot what I was going to say.